Welcome everyone to today's discussion on whether morality should be subjective or objective. I'm excited to hear all of your perspectives. Let's start with an opening question. What does morality mean to each of you?
For me, morality is about the principles that guide our decisions and actions, ensuring we do what's right and just. It's a framework for living harmoniously.
I see morality as a set of personal beliefs that can vary from person to person. What's right for one might not be right for another, so I lean towards morality being subjective.
I believe in objective morality. There are universal truths about right and wrong that apply to everyone regardless of individual opinions or cultural differences.
Interesting perspectives. Guy, you mentioned a framework for living harmoniously. Do you think this framework is universal, or can it adapt to different cultures and societies?
I think the core principles like fairness and compassion are universal, but how they are applied can vary based on cultural contexts. So there's a balance between objectivity and adaptability.
That's a good point, Guy. But doesn't allowing adaptability open the door to subjective interpretations that can conflict? For example, what's considered fair in one culture might be seen differently in another.
While cultural variations exist, the underlying moral principles remain the same. Fairness, for instance, is a universal value even if its application differs. This consistency supports the idea of objective morality.
Ryan, you seem concerned about the cultural conflict. How do you propose we navigate differing moral viewpoints if morality is subjective?
I think it requires a high level of empathy and open-mindedness. We need to understand and respect each other's perspectives, even if we don't agree. It's about finding common ground rather than imposing one view over another.
While empathy is important, without some objective standards, it might be challenging to resolve conflicts. If morality is entirely subjective, it could lead to anything-goes mentality, which might harm societal cohesion.
That's where objective morality plays a crucial role. It provides a consistent standard that helps maintain order and protect individuals' rights. Without it, subjective morality could undermine justice and equality.
Sonia, can you elaborate on how objective morality ensures justice and equality in diverse societies?
Sure. Objective morality establishes clear guidelines that everyone can follow, ensuring that actions are judged by the same standards. This prevents arbitrary judgments and biases, promoting fairness and equal treatment under the law.
However, even objective standards can be interpreted differently. Take the concept of justice as fundamental, but its implementation can vary widely depending on the legal system and cultural norms.
That's true, Ryan. Even with objective principles, human interpretation and biases can affect how they're applied. So, while the foundation might be objective, the execution can still be subjective.
Sounds like there's a tension between having a universal moral foundation and the subjective interpretation of that foundation. How can we reconcile these two aspects?
One way is through continuous dialogue and ethical education. By fostering discussions like this, we can strive to interpret objective morals in ways that are fair and considerate of different contexts, reducing subjective distortions.
I agree that dialogue is essential, but I still believe that embracing moral subjectivity allows for more flexibility and relevance in diverse societies. It can accommodate evolving values and new understandings of what's right.
Flexibility is important, but without some objective base, it might lead to moral relativism, where any action can be justified based on personal beliefs. This could erode trust and cooperation in society.
These are compelling arguments on both sides. Let's delve deeper. Sonia, how do you address the challenge of differing interpretations of objective morality across cultures?
We acknowledge cultural differences but focus on universal moral principles that transcend these variations. For example, human rights are recognized globally even if their application differs slightly. This provides a common ground for objective morality.
Human rights are a good example, but even they have been the subject of intense debate and reinterpretation over time. This suggests that our understanding of objective morality can evolve, bringing it closer to subjectivity.
Evolution of moral understanding doesn't necessarily negate objectivity. It could be seen as refining our objective principles based on new knowledge and societal progress, similar to how scientific truths evolve with new discoveries.
That's an interesting analogy, Kai. So, objective morality can adapt and grow without losing its foundational truths. Ryan, does this perspective change your view on the relationship between objectivity and subjectivity in morality?
It does to some extent. If objective morality can evolve while maintaining its core principles, it allows for both stability and adaptability. However, I'm still cautious about the potential for subjective influences in interpreting these evolving principles.
Transparency in moral reasoning and increasing education around ethical principles can mitigate subjective biases. By making the foundations of objective morality clear and accessible, we reduce the chances of misinterpretation.
Education is key, but so is accountability. Ensuring that individuals and institutions are held accountable to objective moral standards can help maintain integrity and prevent subjective deviations.
Accountability complements objective morality by enforcing its principles consistently. Let's consider real-world applications. How do objective and subjective morality influence areas like law, healthcare, and personal relationships?
In law, objective morality underpins the justice system, establishing laws that protect rights and ensure fairness. It provides a standardized approach to justice, which is essential for societal trust and order.
In healthcare, subjective morality might emphasize patient autonomy and personalized care, allowing for decisions that respect individual values and circumstances. It ensures that care is compassionate and tailored to each person.
Personal relationships thrive on a mix of objective and subjective morality. Objective principles like honesty and respect are foundational, while subjective elements allow relationships to adapt and respond to unique personal dynamics.
It's clear that both perspectives have significant implications across different sectors. How do you think technological advancements, like AI and biotechnology, challenge our understanding of objective and subjective morality?
Technology introduces complex ethical dilemmas that test our moral frameworks. Objective morality provides a foundation for addressing these challenges consistently, ensuring that advancements benefit humanity without compromising fundamental rights.
On the other hand, the rapid pace of technological change requires adaptable moral frameworks. Subjective morality allows us to quickly respond to new ethical issues by considering diverse perspectives and innovative solutions.
Both approaches are necessary. Objective morality offers stability and protection against unethical uses of technology, while subjective morality encourages creative and adaptive ethical responses to unforeseen challenges.
Balancing stability with adaptability seems crucial in a rapidly changing world. Let's shift gears a bit. How do personal experiences shape our views on whether morality should be subjective or objective?
Personal experiences can reinforce the belief in objective morality, especially when individuals encounter universal injustices or ethical dilemmas that highlight the need for consistent moral principles.
Conversely, diverse personal experiences can highlight the variability in moral beliefs, strengthening the case for subjective morality. When people see how different backgrounds influence moral decisions, they appreciate the complexity of ethical issues.
Personal experiences can do both. They can affirm objective morals by demonstrating their universal applicability or reveal the nuances that subjective morality accounts for. It's about recognizing the interplay between universal principles and individual contexts.
It seems that personal experiences can validate both perspectives, depending on how they are interpreted. Let's explore the philosophical foundations. Which philosophical theories support objective morality, and which support subjectivity?
Philosophies like Kantian ethics and moral realism support objective morality. Kantian ethics emphasizes duty and universal moral laws, while moral realism posits that moral facts exist independently of human beliefs.
Existentialism and moral relativism are examples of philosophies that support subjective morality. Existentialism focuses on individual freedom and responsibility in creating personal values, while moral relativism suggests that moral standards are culturally and individually determined.
Additionally, utilitarianism can bridge both views by advocating for the greatest good for the greatest number, which can be seen as an objective standard while allowing for subjective interpretations based on context and consequences.
Understanding these philosophical underpinnings helps frame our discussion. How do you think cultural globalization impacts the debate between objective and subjective morality?
Cultural globalization promotes the exchange of moral ideas, which can lead to a more unified set of objective moral standards. It encourages the adoption of universal human rights and ethical practices that transcend cultural boundaries.
However, it can also lead to moral homogenization, where dominant cultures impose their subjective morality on others, potentially eroding local traditions and ethical practices. This highlights the need for respecting cultural diversity within moral discourse.
Cultural globalization requires a balance between embracing universal moral principles and respecting cultural uniqueness. It challenges us to find common ethical ground while honoring diverse moral perspectives.
Balancing universal principles with cultural diversity is indeed challenging. Let's talk about personal responsibility. How does the belief in objective or subjective morality influence individual accountability for actions?
With objective morality, individuals are held to consistent moral standards, making it clear what is right or wrong. This clarity enhances accountability, as actions can be objectively judged against established norms.
In a subjective morality framework, accountability is more nuanced. It depends on personal or cultural standards, which can vary widely. While it allows for personal responsibility, it can also make consistent accountability more complex.
Objective morality provides a straightforward basis for accountability, but acknowledging subjective elements can ensure that accountability is fair and considers individual circumstances. It's about applying objective standards with subjective sensitivity.
It's clear that both objective and subjective morality have significant implications for personal responsibility. Let's consider the role of emotion in moral decision-making. How do emotions influence our views on morality's nature?
Emotions can reinforce objective morality by highlighting moral injustices and motivating actions to uphold universal principles. Anger at wrongdoing or compassion for victims can inspire adherence to objective ethical standards.
Emotions also support subjective morality by reflecting individual values and experiences. Feelings like empathy, pride, or guilt are personal and can shape one's unique moral compass, emphasizing the subjective nature of ethical decisions.
Emotions play a dual role. They can both affirm objective moral truths by eliciting strong responses to injustice and underscore the subjective aspect by illustrating personal moral frameworks. Understanding this duality enriches our moral discourse.
Emotions indeed add depth to our moral understanding. Before we wrap up, what do you think is the future of the debate between subjective and objective morality?
I believe the future lies in integrating both perspectives. Recognizing universal moral principles while allowing for personal and cultural variations can create a more comprehensive and adaptable moral framework.
I agree. Embracing the complexity of morality by valuing both objective standards and subjective experiences can lead to more inclusive and resilient ethical systems, capable of addressing diverse challenges.
The debate will likely continue, but the trend is towards a synthesis that appreciates the stability of objective morality and the flexibility of subjective interpretation. This balanced approach can better navigate the moral complexities of the modern world.
Thank you all for this enriching discussion. It's clear that the question of whether morality should be subjective or objective is multifaceted, with valid arguments on both sides. Embracing both perspectives may offer the most practical path forward.